gonna make this grid drawing. Okay, and to start we want to make our grid. So I line up my ruler. I see that it's 11 inches. Half of 11 is 5.5. So I'm finding the halfway mark here. Gonna make another dot up here, and then I flip my ruler. I line up my 2 dots, and I lightly draw my line. Okay, now I want to measure this side. It is 8 1/4. So half of 8 1/4 is 4 1/8. Kind of funny. So I'm gonna make 2 more lines. Or actually I might do 3 dots because this is kind of a long stretch here. And I'm gonna line my ruler up on these dots and lightly draw my line. So you can see we have our grid. So I am gonna move through this pretty quickly, but you can pause this at any time to get caught up. So I'm gonna fold my drawing so I'm only seeing the upper left-hand quadrant, which is right here. I'm looking at this whole pumpkin. This takes up most of the space. Remember I talked about positive and negative space. The positive space here is the pumpkin. The negative space is what's in the background. So I'm actually, as I'm drawing, gonna look at this negative space here, and it looks kind of like a curve here at the top, and then it stops here at the bottom. So I'm going to make my curve maybe a little bit more angled. And then I'm gonna look here at this shape. So does that look about the right curve? Yeah, pretty close. Maybe make this slightly more of an angle here. And I'm, remember, holding my pencil back a little bit so I can lightly sketch like this. I'm not gripping so tight and pressing so hard that when I make my marks, it's hard for me to erase. Okay, now I'm looking at this stem here, and I am going to start with this little piece of pumpkin right here, and that is going to be pretty low. And then I sometimes use my pencil to divide up this section. So this stem goes past halfway. So if I were to do the same thing on here, I know that the stem should be all the way like out here. Okay, so maybe out to here, and I'm looking at the curve and the shape. So it's gonna curve. It's actually just a slight curve and then pretty straight. And then it comes down to here. Okay. And I'm not worrying about the details just yet. Okay, I'm going to flip this over. Sometimes I like to get the big picture here. So I see on this bottom part, these connect at about halfway. So there is some overlapping here. There's touching. This one is actually overlapping this guy. So I know if I can continue my line to about halfway here, I know to make my pumpkin about this size. Same thing here. I know that this is all the way out here. It comes up to almost the line. Okay, and curves and slightly overlaps right there. There are a lot of leaves down here, and what I do is just take creative liberties. I'm the artist, you're the artist in your drawing. I am just going to make an educated guess here. I'm going to infer where I think the pumpkin ends. Okay, so I'm just doing that. Okay, and I am not even really, well, I could start this stem. So about halfway down here. So maybe right about here is where I'm gonna look at the stem. The top is like this oval shape. This is called foreshortening. It's really tricky. So it's like kind of if I point my finger here at the camera, you know that there's this part of my finger, but you can't see it. So it really is tricky for the eye, and it's tricky to draw. So this is the same thing. The stem is actually coming towards us. So we need to make it kind of look like it comes towards us. And that is just through our drawing skills. So I will walk you through some of these details later. Okay, so I kind of have that stem drawn there. Okay, I'm gonna flip over to this side, and I'm noticing this pumpkin here comes about here, about halfway. Okay, and then we have this white pumpkin that is like this shape. And then we have a little bit of this green pumpkin here in the corner. Gonna open this up. And notice down here, it kind of comes like this. It's not to halfway, so that looks good. This green one is in front of this white and green one. So inferring the bottom of this. Down here is like an oval pumpkin shape. And it is just mainly to the left side. So I know that I need to draw this pumpkin here on the left side. Okay, and then here's the stem. In the next video, I will walk you through how to add some more details and some shading, but you should have a rough sketch of this drawing or this photograph here.